Oh, what's up, YouTube? I don't really know if you can hear me. I'm just gonna do this quick little vlog. Just wanted to check in, see how everyone's 4th went. We had a great time, had some friends over, did a little cookout, had some burgers, had some hot dogs. And so now today, I promised the wife that I would try a recipe that I saw on another YouTuber's channel for chicken gnocchi soup. I've never had it, but apparently Olive Garden has some delicious chicken gnocchi soup. But I'm on my way to the store to pick up the list of ingredients that I did not have. I'm in the Jeep. It's a beautiful day, got the top off, and so I'll just drive around a little bit and let you guys see some of the beauty of this great land. If I was back home in Virginia, everything would be on back roads and dirt roads, but down here in South Carolina, it's all pavement, and to me, this is a concrete jungle. I love it down here, but I miss my mountains. So it's a catch-all, I guess. I love the area. I love the weather. I love being able to ride like this all the time. I love riding a motorcycle all the time, but at the same time, I miss going out in the woods and knowing my surroundings. I moved down here 2 years ago, and I don't really know anything about the area, and so hopefully this fall I can get out in the woods and start to learn it a little bit better. I got a buddy that's getting interested in hunting and fishing, and hopefully he and I can get together and put some meat in the freezer this year. I missed out on a year and a half of hunting last year and the year before, and I've got that itch, you know, so hopefully in the next couple months you'll be getting some footage of that. We shot a few guns Friday morning of the 4th, and that was great fun. Had my cousin and a buddy with me. We shot a ton of guns, everything from, I shot a Glock 17, Glock 26, an FN S9, I shot my little 22, I shot an SKS, shot a SIG 357, shot a Bodyguard 380. That was a lot of fun. That little thing was nice. My cousin had loaded up some rounds, and they were nice. But so yeah, you guys leave me some feedback. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how you're doing and how I'm doing according to you guys. And that's the only way I can get better. So until I get back on here, I'll let you know how the soup goes. But we'll holler back at you in a little bit. All right, guys. So I'm back. I just left the grocery store, Harris Teeter. That's where the wife and I go quite a bit. But that was really expensive. I wasn't expecting to spend that much money on one meal, but it's worth it, I guess. She's worth it. It was like $50. Granted, I did have to buy pretty much everything. There wasn't hardly anything that I already had. So I'm going to head to the house. I was going to ride around a little bit and talk to you guys, but some of the things I bought have to get back in the refrigerator. It calls for like half and half. Got a whole quart of half and half, and don't really want that to spoil. Yeah, so we'll ride back to the house. I'll get this soup going, and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it's good. I don't know. I gotta wash the dishes before I cook, though. I can't stand that. You got a red light like 300 feet from the turn. But then there's all these people that come from this way. And there's a police up there. Apparently the red light's messed up or something. I'm gonna try to go. The camera might fall. So hope you guys stick around, see the gnocchi, however you say it. The recipe I got, well, I don't really think you can call it a recipe. he kind of just shows you what he's throwing together. It doesn't give you temperatures or anything or anything like that. But the guy seems like he can cook. And he's a local from the area, so. But it's Kid Behind the Camera. If you go to his channel, or Behind a Camera, Kid Behind a Camera. If you go to his channel, you can just type in. Had to do the Jeep wave. Sorry. If you type in chicken gnocchi soup, it's Gnocchi, I believe. Soup, it'll pop up. You can watch his video. I'm not going to go through the whole thing of showing you how I'm doing it, but I will put up the ingredients in the comments, in the description below, and then I'll put a link to his video too. So yeah, you guys stick around, we'll see how it turns out. Alright guys, so I know I didn't really say that I was going to show you how to cook everything. Actually, I'm pretty sure I said I wasn't. But I've changed my mind, just to give you a little bit of a different glance at Hagar here. We're going to have the cooking corner with Hagar. So I'm just going to show you everything that's going on, and I'm not going to go into great detail about the amounts and stuff because my wife and I have a running joke that I don't measure anything, but yet my food's always delicious. So I have the recipe exactly. Like I said, I'm going to put it down below and show you the amounts that's supposed to go in here. And as far as the spices, I'll probably stick to the recipe, but it calls for like a cup of onion and things like that, and I'm not going to really measure out a cup of onion. I'm going to put a whole onion in there, medium to large size, and celery I'm going to chop up as much as I think that we'll enjoy being in there, and parsley. I'm not a big parsley fan, so I'm probably not going to put that much in there, but I'm going to put, I'm going to chop some up and put it in there. And so yeah, so right now what I'm going to do is I bought a rotisserie chicken, and it is garlic herb chicken, and I'm going to just cut it up and I'll quarter it out, pull the meat, and then cut it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pull the legs. So good. This smells so good. Smell-o-vision would be awesome. And then we're just going to go right down the middle, beside the breastbone. I mean, the bones are just falling apart. And then we'll just take the breast meat, pull it off. Don't really want any gristle in there. The wife is not a big fan of gristle. I don't really know anybody that is a fan of gristle. I'm going to cut the skin and all here. Pull some of this meat off the legs, get that dark meat. You can choose not to do the skin, but I think if you're buying a flavored chicken, you might as well use the skin because that's where a lot of the flavor is, especially if you get it from a big box store like I did. I don't know if they inject their stuff or not. So yeah, get some of this bad meat out of there. I'm just going to go through and feel it. If it feels good and tender, use it. Conjure the breast. And it calls for a cup of chicken, but I'm not going to waste any of this chicken that's good meat. And I mean, I could put it up for later, but why not just add it? Like I said, the wife doesn't really like anything but white meat. The dogs will appreciate it though. So now I'm just going to go through and chop it up. So as you're chopping, you just want to kind of feel through the meat. Make sure you're not missing any kind of bone or anything like that. And it's just a real loose chop. It's not, you're not trying to dice it or anything like that. Me personally, I like chunk. See, like right there's a bone. I always want to watch for that. But I like a nice chunk. I don't want to, I mean, I've never had this recipe, but just in general, I don't want all the meat to render down into nothing. I want to be able to taste a little bit of it. You're going to have, the texture of the gnocchi and stuff like that, I would assume, but kind of like, I guess like you would for potato salad, or if you go to a barbecue joint and you got chopped chicken or chopped pork, you just want to go through it. Make sure you got decent little things. Now I'm going to put this in a bowl. There's another little bone. Just going to kind of go through the meat and make sure there's no other bones. I wouldn't have expected. There's 3 I found, see? Always pays to check. I hate for wifey to try to say I was trying to choke her. But I'm going to put this in a bowl for now. It doesn't go in until later. I'll wash my hands off real quick. It doesn't go in until later in the recipe. And so I'll come back and we'll chop some onion. So I just chopped up the celery because I thought the camera was on and it wasn't. So what I did was I took about 2½ stalks. I cut the ends off where the whites started, or the green started to dissipate. I don't, normally, you know, you have your stalk that runs the long ways and it's curved, and on the inside, that's what I go by. I cut off where the green starts to dissipate and it turns into white. Whether that's the actual way to judge celery, I don't know. And what I did was I cut down the stalks twice to make real thin little chunks, and then I just roughly chopped them into little squares. And I don't know if you can see, as you can see right there. So what I'm going to do now that the camera's actually going, I'll go ahead and just throw this in a bowl. And I think the recipe calls for a cup or something like that. Like I said, I don't know. So I'm going to do that, and then now I'm going to chop up my onion. Calls for a cup. I'm going to use a whole onion. Don't ask what kind. I don't know. Whatever kind of onion you like. We always get these. I like the big white Vidalia onions. I don't know if that's what this is. Sweet onions, whatever you call them. I don't know. But this was a little cheap, so I bought this one. So we'll get this stuff out of the way. And what I do, cut in half, cut this way, and I just go long ways. So the onion, you know, you got your arch. I'm set it sideways. You can see this. Set it sideways, hold it on the side, and I just go a long way, or perpendicular to your onion. And you just do a bunch of little, and then I just go a long way, or the normal ways. If you mess up, who cares? It's all going to the same place. A lot of people start crying when they're cutting up onions. I don't know, I guess I'm just fortunate. Sometimes it gets to me, sometimes it don't. And this you can just mix in with your celery. And we'll go from there. Alright guys, so far we have our celery chopped up, our onions chopped up, our chicken's chopped up. Now, because of the way I have the camera set up, I can't really start cooking until all my prep work's done, because once the pot's on here, I won't really have anywhere to show you. So, again, I'm using my phone for all this. So, I went ahead and got some parsley out, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, I've never used parsley. I have cleaned it off, don't want any of that junk on there. And we're just gonna rough chop this. I'll put the rest back in the bag. On Hagar the Great, his channel, we don't need no stinking instructions. Anyway, so next up, after we get this all situated, put this in a little bowl here. Clean off our board. Alright, so I bought, y'all probably gonna rag on me for this, but instead of buying fresh whatever, carrots and fresh spinach, I figured I'd be lazy. And so I bought shredded carrots, and that's about how much we're gonna put in there. It's funny because I told my wife makes a killer potato soup, and one day I'll see if she'll let me have the recipe. But we'll see if she'll let me steal the recipe, and I'll see if I can show you guys. Hopefully she'll let me show you guys the recipe, because it's killer. It really is. We always joke around and talk about who we think's better to cook. Me personally, think I got her beat a little bit. But anyway, you can get fresh spinach. We're just gonna rough chop this too, just so it breaks down a little bit easier. This all three of these go in right before you're getting ready to let the soup just simmer. So, like I said, I am trying to lose some weight. This soup recipe is probably not gonna be the best for me, but we'll see how it goes. That should be everything that needs to be chopped. That should be everything there. And when I come back, I should have the pot on here. Alright guys, so I'm back. And I got my spices set up. I had to bring the laptop down because I had the ingredients on there. Like I said, I'll probably go by these pretty good. So, to the onion and celery mixture, the diced up celery and onion, we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. So I just went and bought minced garlic. So I got a half here. I'm going to throw that in there. So there's a half. There's a whole. Try to get some of that juice out of it. And there's a whole and a half. Now this over here is just going to be boiling water because I'm going to go ahead and boil the gnocchi. The package says to bring well salted water to a boil, so I just shook some salt and then drop the gnocchi in there. Once it rises up to the top, that's when you strain it out. You immediately strain it out. So I'm assuming this stuff is easy to overdo. So that's it, yeah. To the onion and the celery, you just add the garlic, nutmeg, thyme, some butter, the parsley, the carrots, all that stuff go in later. So we'll get to that in a minute. Gonna bring this to a boil, and I'll be back with you once the gnocchi comes out. All right, guys. So I just got done boiling up the gnocchi. I always say that, it's so weird, but I'll show you what I bought. She bought a 17.5 ounce little package. I've never even tried gnocchi. So what we're gonna do next is in a large pot or soup pot, whatever you want to call it. I just kind of on medium heat, and you're just letting it kind of heat up. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take some olive oil. I don't know how much. I'm gonna add some to the pot, just to kind of cover the bottom of the pan or the sauce pot, whatever you want to call it. Kind of mix it around. Then you're going to take 4 tablespoons of butter. Butter makes it better. So 4 tablespoons. You're just going to let that cook down and melt. It's actually a little hot, so we're going to reduce the heat a little bit. So we'll let that cook down and I'll be back. Alright, so our butter and oil have cooked down. So next we're going to add our onion, celery, and garlic mixture. I'm going to let that render down until it's good and tender and almost clear. And then once we do that, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of flour in order to make a roux. So I'll have my tablespoon, have it in there, have it ready. I'm keeping this heat on medium. I don't know what the actual heat is. So hopefully you guys cook the way that I do, just by eye, smell, and sound. And if you do, good for you. I did buy some French bread, and I'm going to try to make some homemade garlic butter here in a little bit. Make sure you catch that. Alright guys, so the onion, the celery, the garlic, the butter, the oil, all that's cooked down really well. It's got a great smell. The onions are almost like translucent clear. not transparent. You don't want to see all the way through them, but you just want it to be kind of hazy. The celery is cooked down quite a bit. Could probably go a little bit longer, but I'm impatient. We're going to go ahead and do 4 tablespoons of flour. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Yeah, that was like 3 1/4. There's 4. So then we're going to stir this all up. It's going to make a nice thick little roux. I'm using a wood spoon. I'm not a big fan of whisks. So that thickened right up. Now what we're going to add, and reduce this just a smidge, is we bought 1 quart of half and half. We're going to add that gradually as we're stirring, just to kind of make our base, I suppose. So add a little bit, stir it up, and it'll thicken. Add a little bit, stir it up, let it thicken. Add a little bit. That was quite a bit. Just be patient, keep stirring it, it'll thicken up. Alright guys, so I got the half and half added, and this is just kind of cooking. I'm just kind of still stirring up a little bit. So we're going to hold off on that for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and add my nutmeg and thyme. The nutmeg, let's see, is 1/4 teaspoon, and the thyme is 1/2 teaspoon. And I went ahead and just measured everything out. Looks like my thing was a little wet, but I'm going to go ahead and add everything in here. My measuring cup was a little wet when I added it. So add that in there. Mix it up real good. Alright, once that's kind of stirred up, we're going to add our chicken. And it only calls for a cup of chicken. And if you use a whole rotisserie chicken cut up, it's going to be more than a cup. And then the recipe calls for 2 14-ounce cans of chicken broth. Well, Hagar don't have no stinking chicken broth in cans. So I didn't buy any. I had this box, and it is 32 ounces total. So 14. If you got 2 14-ounce cans, that's 28 ounces. So I'm like 4 ounces over. Oh Lord, what will I ever do? Well, once this cooks up a little bit, it's getting nice and thick. Remember, we got everything in there. We're just going to start pouring.
However will I know? Oh gosh. I'm getting nervous. Nope. Still needs more. Oh, wait. Let's see. Nope. That's probably about right.
So as you can see, guys, I don't really put a lot of emphasis. It's going to taste delicious regardless. So I got this in here. We're going to stir it up. Get everything nice and going. I'm just going to add a little salt. Not a lot. So we got this going. Gonna let this cook. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the chicken broth. This is the good thing about cooking your own, guys. You don't have to go by a recipe. As long as you got the ingredients, or you don't even need all the ingredients. You can, like yesterday, we made a cake. My wife made a cake, We didn't have any buttermilk. Who keeps buttermilk at home? Well, Paula Deen probably does, but I don't. So we improvised. If you add, I think it's one, don't quote me, I think it's like if you add a teaspoon or a tablespoon of lemon juice for every cup of milk, it's a substitute for buttermilk. Bet you didn't know that. So now while this is cooking up, we're almost done, guys. We're going to add in our spinach, carrots, and parsley. Now the recipe I read or watched from Kid Behind the Camera, I didn't really do this in order because I just chopped everything up in a cup, into a bowl and just did it. So I don't really think it's gonna matter because you're gonna reduce the heat and let it steep for an hour or so. We're gonna put the lid on it and we're gonna let it cook, and hopefully it's gonna be delicious. I don't know. Oh, what am I thinking? We're not done. This is called chicken gnocchi soup. What about the gnocchi? So we're gonna add these in here. They kind of stuck together. So we're adding these in here. Hopefully they come apart. I don't know if anybody knows how to keep them from sticking together like this. Let me know. I would assume that's not supposed to be that way. I mean, guys, you can do whatever you want. That's the cool thing about cooking. Cooking's like working on a car. You do things your own way. It's not necessarily the right way, but as long as it gets you down the road or it gets food in your belly. All right, so I'm gonna let this cook up. I'll be right back in a minute making some garlic butter and for the French bread. All right, guys, so I'm gonna make garlic butter. This is another one of those things I've never done before, but I'm gonna share it with you. It's really simple. I mean, garlic butter, it's garlic and butter and a little bit of parsley. You can add olive oil if you'd like. I'm gonna try it without it. The butter has canola oil in it. I don't know, we'll see how it turns out before I tell you for sure if I'm not gonna put it in there. But we're just gonna dice very finely some more parsley. Good thing I don't use a lot of it because I have tons left over. If you need any parsley, just let me know, because unless I make this recipe all the time, I probably won't need any. In the measuring cup here, I have about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half or a quarter of butter, and it is light butter because my wife is a health nut. She hates anything with fat, even though she loves me, so I guess I just got lucky. But so I have that butter in the thing. We're just going to take about a pinch of the parsley and put it in there. I'll put a little bit more. Probably cut up a little bit too much, but like I said, I've not made this, so I didn't know how much to use. And then from that, we're going to add a little garlic. Now, you can do fresh pressed garlic. I'm just going to use a little bit of the minced garlic that I already had, and that's all I'm using. I might not even use that much. Yeah, it's already in there now. So I'm gonna do that. Now this butter probably isn't as warm as I'd like it. We're just gonna take it and we're just gonna fold it. And fold all that in there. Yeah, it gives it a good color, good texture. You know, what I was always told, I know I talk a lot about health and stuff, and I look like I do, but I was always told the more color you have in your food, you know, the healthier it is. I use a lot of green and a lot of orange. We cook with a lot of peppers, a lot of onions, and things like that. So it's folded in pretty nicely, and so I'm just gonna put it back in the fridge for a little bit, let it chill. And then when I come back, I'll be cutting up the bread. Alright guys, so I'm back. The wife let me know that she is on, well, not on her way, but almost on her way. So I'm going to go ahead and start on this bread. As you can see, there's some seeds. It's like sesame seeds or something. I don't know. The thing said that it was a small French loaf. So we'll see. So I'm going to just take the butter. You can see how that turned out. My light really isn't all that great over here, but whatever. So I'm just going to put it on the back of the spoon. I'm just going to, I hope I made enough. I can always make more, but just going to spread it on there. I'm going to preheat the oven to probably about 325, maybe even less. I don't want to really burn this. I just want to get the butter nice and melted, and a little bit of crisp on the outer edges, and hopefully Mrs. Hagar will enjoy it. I love to cook and stuff for her especially, but all together I love to cook. It might be something that this channel kind of starts going towards. It is summertime. I haven't barbecued at all. I love making ribs. I honestly haven't made ribs in probably a year. Since we moved down here, I left my smoker and everything, my gas grill, all up in Virginia. Hopefully I can get this going. So there's the bread, and that was exactly enough to cover both slices. I got a little I could scrape out just to touch up some places. So about a tablespoon and a half, or a tablespoon and a quarter, a tablespoon and a half or less, and just that little bit of garlic and parsley, and that, I mean, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see. Looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to throw this in the oven. Like I said, on probably 325, 350, and get it nice and toasted up. The soup is looking fabulous. See if I can get you a picture of that. Oh, I'm moving the camera. I hardly ever do that. But here is the soup. And it is grand. There's that. Hope y'all enjoy this. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of the cooking section on the Hagar channel here. Decided that you needed to know to have a better understanding of it. Some of you may already know how to make chicken gnocchi soup. I don't know. If you do, awesome. Let me know if you did anything different than I did, or what I can add to it to make it a little bit better. So hope you guys stick around. We'll see what we can do. Thanks, guys. God bless.